Well guys, it's been about a week of positive videos here on the channel, so you know what that means. Time to bring back the negativity because it's time to be a grifter. This is the kind of new label that's just slapped on anybody and everybody that has anything remotely negative to say about precious Nintendo. Now, are there actually people out there that grift? Probably, yeah, but I mean, I think there's also a lot of people that genuinely just have concerns for Nintendo. And if there's one thing I'm going to do, it's going to keep my honest and truthful thoughts in place on this channel. I'm not just going to praise Nintendo when they don't deserve it. But I also told myself that I wouldn't be overly negative with these videos, and I'll be trying to find solutions and also compromises. But at the same time, Nintendo needs their butt spanked sometimes. So what is this even all about in the first place? Well, a couple of weeks ago, I posted a video talking about how pretty much the Switch 2 feels a lot like quantity over quality. There's so many more games than the launch of Switch 1 already in just the first 7 months, but sometimes more doesn't mean better. There's of course going to be a group of people out there that just love everything Switch 2. I mean, if I was a kid, I probably wouldn't care about anything either and just love everything Nintendo's pouring out to us. But as a 28-year-old Nin10dolt, I don't know, the Switch 2 itself just has kind of felt let me get this straight. I don't think any of the games on Switch 2 are inherently bad games. I just think they're all kind of safer games that didn't really blow my mind. Besides Donkey Kong Bonanza, that game was freaking awesome! And honestly, it's one of my only recommendations so far on Switch 2. You know it's not going to be Mario Kart Sleep. So why am I beating a dead horse and bringing this up yet again? Well, Mario Tennis Fever reviews dropped, and I've seen a lot of people online talking about it, and it kind of caught my attention. As of right now, Mario Tennis Fever is sitting at about a 77 on Metacritic, with a total of 64 critical reviews, and it's not saying too much when you compare it to the Switch sports games, which it's already better than all 3 of them. Which is crazy Battle League isn't sitting at like a 40, this game is literally a dumpster fire. But yeah, for a Mario Tennis game, it's kind of like middle of the pack compared to the others. It's not anywhere near the worst ones, but not anywhere near some of the best ones. Just middle of the road. And a lot of people have been giving them credit for this, saying, hey, that's not too bad for a Mario sports title, especially since they're slightly improving since Ultra Smash on the Wii U. But I'm looking here like, well, there's been 100 tennis games, they should be more than just improving right now. But I've seen some people online bringing up that this is like the 4th game in a row for Switch 2 to be in the 70s. And I actually didn't believe it, and I'm like, wait a second. And I went on Metacritic and looked, and well, color me purple and slap an egg in my butt. Drag and Drive obviously came in low, but at a 60 in the fan review was like a 5. Nintendo Switch 2 Welcome Tour at a 54 with fan score of a 3.7. Super Mario Party Jamboree Nintendo Switch 2 Edition plus Jamboree TV came in at a 76, 6 points lower than the original version on Switch 1, and fans gave it a 5.9. Kirby Air Riders came in at a 79, which I'll be honest, I think it should have been a lot better. I thought it was better than Mario Kart World, and I'll get to that in a second. Hyrule Warriors Age of Imprisonment, a 79, which I felt like could have been even lower personally. Pokemon Legends ZA with a score of 78 and a user score of oh my gosh. And then we have Metroid Prime 4 Beyond at a 78. Bring that down a little bit. Oh boy, I can already hear the clicking and clacking down below. Who cares about Metacritic review scores? Well, Nintendo fans. I mean, as soon as Nintendo drops a banger title, we're the first ones online posting about how freaking good it did. Dude, I remember everybody talking about Metroid Prime Remaster when it dropped a couple of years ago, and how well it did, getting a 94 and rated as one of the best reviewed games of all time. And it absolutely deserved it. That game was stunning, and only 40 bucks. Or what I call Nintendo's glory year of 2017, where they dropped 2 97 bombs, one with The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild and the other with Mario Odyssey. Shoot, we were even praising Donkey Kong Bonanza for being 91 and a Metacritic must play. Like, it deserved it. That was pretty good. I'm not talking about this because I need validation of review scores in order for me to like a game. I'm talking about this because I agree with almost every single one of these scores. Almost. I think outside of Donkey Kong Bonanza and Kirby Air Riders, every game that I've played on the Switch 2 has just felt kind of like an experience of jumping into a game, playing for a little bit, and just being done and not feeling anything afterwards. Reaching the end of Donkey Kong Bonanza and collecting everything that there was to collect in the entirety of the game just felt rewarding, and it felt satisfying. It was a great adventure from beginning to end, and it was a truly memorable experience. And so far, I feel like almost everything else that's come out to me has just felt like a 70 on Metacritic. But no, 70 isn't bad, it's passing, it's a C, it's nothing to be looked at as a terrible review score or anything like this, but we're talking about Nintendo here. They set standards high. Their first party bombshells is what brings people over to their new consoles in the first place. And hey, maybe we're spoiled, sure, but that doesn't mean that we should settle for less from Nintendo. Go back to 2017 once again. The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, 97. Splatoon 2, an 83. Which to me, Splatoon 2 was the best in the series and honestly should have been way higher. Mario Rabbids Kingdom Battle, an 85. Xenoblade 2, an 83. Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, a 92. And of course, Super Mario Odyssey at a 97. The first Pokemon game, being Sword and Shield for Switch 1, put up at least an 80, and even though fans didn't like it, fans hate Pokemon. And for crying out loud, even Snipper Clips got an 80 and Snipper Clips Plus got an 84. Now don't get me wrong, Nintendo Switch wasn't perfect in 2017. It still had its fair share of misses, with ARMS only being 77, Fire Emblem Warriors at a 74, and 1-2 Switch at a 58. Ugh. The thing is, you're always going to have those lower reviewed games, those games that just don't resonate with everybody, the games that people just don't like. You're going to have your 70s, you're going to have your occasional 60s even. Hopefully no more of these. But these lower scored games were sandwiched between these massive, really well-performing ones. When we had our 1-2 Switches, there was always a Luigi's Mansion 3 at an 86 right next door, or a 93 Super Smash Ultimate, or even an 88 Super Mario Maker 2, or even a 96 Tears of the Kingdom. It's because for the most part, Nintendo always strives for quality with their franchises. They don't settle for less than the absolute bare minimum. And this is something that I'm just currently not seeing in the review scores and also with the quality of the games even when I play them. And so far with the Switch 2, it really just feels like Donkey Kong Bonanza and Mario Kart World are running the show. Donkey Kong Bonanza absolutely deserves its 91 score and maybe even a little higher. But Mario Kart World, I don't know how it even got an 86. I felt like that was way too high. I mean, there's some games that we've already seen with scores that were way lower than this, and I don't think that's the case. Kirby, for an example. So Mario Tennis Fever is yet again just another game that adds to that 70s list for the Switch 2 so far. In fact, this is already the 8th Switch 2 game to be beneath an 80 on Metacritic, which for one is just insane. That's just 8 of these games. It's not even counting all the rest of the games we're not even talking about. Like I said, it feels like Nintendo's just putting out way too many games without quality control right now. I don't know what it is, but I feel like Nintendo fans have gotten to this point since the Switch where they feel like they need a game every single month. We absolutely don't. There's so many games coming out on other consoles and so many games that we can just go back and play that's already come out. It feels weird to just expect something every month from Nintendo, which means they have to fill the schedule with a bunch of just mediocre games. I feel like letting them cook and really make the most out of their titles would be the best thing. I feel like every year should have 2 to 3 major games with a couple of other spin-offs sprinkled in, meaning that we could have a game every 2 to 3 months, which is perfectly fine. I don't think there's anything wrong with waiting 3 to 4 months for a big game if the game is worth it. And so far with the current schedule that we have, I'm not too confident in things like Mario Bros. Wonder Switch 2 Edition, Pokemon Pokopia, or even Yoshi the Mysterious Book. I honestly think the Switch 2 edition of Mario Wonder is going to be fine. The original got a 92, and this just adds a bunch of fun-looking multiplayer modes and also some additional looks like boss fights of the Koopalings in single player. So honestly, I think it might even raise a little bit. I have like no faith in Pokemon Pokopia. I'm sorry, it just looks like a bootleg Animal Crossing to me right now. I just don't see how this is going to be anything special. And just going off the pass, neither Yoshi's Crafted or Woolly World reached an 80 on Metacritic. It was a 79 and 78 respectively. So unless this thing is really truly got some special stuff up its sleeves, I just see it being another Princess Peach Showtime-esque child-friendly game. And from what I've seen, it's just screaming 70s to me. But look, I get it. I hate just relying on Metacritic scores and having to rely on mass media to tell us if a game is good or not. But like I said, after playing all these games and 100%ing every single one, I've came to very similar verdicts with all of these games. And hearing things like Mario Tennis Fever's campaign is baby's first tennis, it's dumb easy and also only around 3 to 4 hours long, it's just already making me feel a little sour before I even pick the game up. And honestly, I'm pretty excited for the game. It's the most I've been excited for a Mario Tennis game since Mario Power Tennis on the GameCube. But with the game being so short and lacking single player content, I can tell you right now, I'm probably only going to put in a handful of hours and probably forget the game even exists, like I have with the other sports games on Switch 1. And what makes it so bad is not only are these games kind of half-baked, but they're also charging an arm and a leg for these things, like $70 for another Mario Tennis game? If this game was $40 or even $50 and getting a 77 on Metacritic, I don't think anybody would bat an eye. But with this being a premium price of $70, the same thing that Tears of the Kingdom was priced at, it's actually hilarious. But Nintendo's price problem right now is definitely for a separate video. My problem isn't to slam Nintendo, or in this case, not even beg for different games, it's just for them to up the quality of the games that are releasing. If these games need more time to cook, let them. We don't need a Hyrule Warriors or another Mario Tennis in the first 7 months of a new console. But you know what has been cooking for a while? Come on, you knew I had to do it. Add it to the counter. I just feel weird seeing every new Nintendo release get a 70 something on Metacritic because it just seems weird for a Nintendo release. Especially 8 of them in an 8-month time span. That's like a mediocre game a month. Oh my gosh. And there's been so many games that have come out for Switch 2 first party wise, I can't even list them all. I mean, from Switch 2 editions to just straight up remasters or remakes, spin-offs, new titles, I feel like it's gotta be well over 15. Nintendo really needs to pump the brakes and make sure that the quality is there before pumping out a new game every single month, because they have everybody fooled with this stuff. Man, we have so many games on Switch 2, so many games, look at all the games that we have. But I'm sorry, personally, I'd rather have fewer games with higher quality. Once again, all I can say is maybe things will change. Maybe they do, maybe they don't. Who knows, time will tell. But I'm telling you right now, if Nintendo's next game is yet again another 70 on Metacritic, I'm just deleting all social media and I'm hiding. It's just gonna be a mess. Wait a second. Nintendo has forgotten about 80's?